Hello everybody, and today I wanted to talk about and review one of my favorite premiums that I have ever bought, and my first premium that I have ever bought. It is a T29, better known as copy paste T34, but better. It's a tank that is on a T34 chassis and uses the Doom Turtles cannon. Because Doom Turtle, one problem I had with it, it has a great cannon, but it just doesn't utilize that much because you're slow. You go 12 kilometers per hour, while the T34 has a great chassis. But one thing I had a problem with it was that the cannon it doesn't have the APHE. So one tapping enemies, let's say shooting at cupolas, are going to be a big problem. One thing I had, what I liked with T29, you have a quite enough of a filler in the shells. That means that you even shooting at cupolas can one shot some enemies. It's really fun. I think it's worth $40. I think you should really invest your time playing this vehicle. It sits on a good BR 7.0, which I wouldn't say it's the best, but your entire gameplay revolves around, are you going to get up tiered or are you going to get down tiered? It all just depends on what your match is going to look like, what map you get. Because if you get a long range map and you got up tiered, you're going to be outclassed by Germans and the Russians, especially Germans because they get those rangefinders. It's going to be quite hard if you don't know how to aim your shells, and I just think that you're gonna get beaten in just sniping if you get up there. If you get down tiered, you're one of the dominating vehicles because your hull has a lot of armor, means that you can tank a few shells, and you have one of the best velocities for a heavy tank. At least I think so. From my point of view, it has a great velocity because at mid ranges you don't really have to pull your gun that much up, and on long ranges you can really kind of guess from where you should shoot. It's the velocity and just the pure cannon itself is great. One problem is that you have quite a long reload, which messes you up if you try to, I don't know, fight multiple opponents at once, because you will face a lot of problems. That's why this tank shouldn't be played alone. Find some friends. If you can't find friends, just follow your team. Try to be as much as supportive as you are, because you are a heavy tank. One problem that you have a T34 chassis. It's a good chassis, but you don't have a lot of armor. Your lower glacis, MG port, upper glacis, you have no armor on your body. So you should really kind of start learning how to angle with this vehicle. It's quite, how do I say it, hard, because you don't uh, face enemies that have bad shells. You face Heat FS, you face Ape Sabots, you face, I don't know, I see a lot of British and Swedish players and they have a lot of good shells, which I find a problem with. So angling, just trying to wiggle your turret and your body is kind of the best thing you can do. This tank is not really slow because the T34, you don't have a lot of armor on you, but you have a good shell. Also, you're really big. You're a huge tank, which is good and bad at the same time. You can kind of peek over things quicker and better, which means that your lower part or your lower hull will be protected, but also is a problem that if you try to hide behind buildings and small rocks, you can still be shot at. You gotta watch out depending on maps. If you play city maps and maps that have a lot of houses, buildings, this tank kind of has to be really aware when you're playing it. You have to really watch out because you don't have you don't have a good turret traverse, and you gotta watch out. Also, you have an enormous side turret. Like the side of your turret is huge, and that's one problem. You will going to get hit really quickly. You gotta watch out just in general when you're playing this vehicle. Sniping, this is one of the best sniping vehicles I ever played. I wouldn't say it is the best on long ranges, but on medium ranges, this is just the vehicle to play. It is a good, I wouldn't call it a heavy tank, I would mostly call it a medium, but because it has a good armored turret and it's not quick, you can't really call it a medium. It excels at a lot of things, but it's a master of none because you don't have hull armor. That means that you can't really tank a lot of shots. You have three crewmates directly one to another. So if an APHE comes by, you're one tapped. You can't really tank sabots with your turret because some sabots or heat FS have enough penetration to go through you. You're not stabilized, even though a lot of vehicles for this BR aren't stabilized, meaning that if you're going to fight like the Swedes or you get up tier to Russians, which have stabilizers, you should watch out for them. This tank really just revolves around one thing, is how you want to play. If you love playing close quarters, you want to really brawl and go on choke points, you should watch out for just don't go alone because you have to watch out for those sneaky flankers, those quick little light tanks which can really mess you up. You gotta watch out if too many enemies are there because of your big reload. Also, max out your reload on the crew because it will help you a lot. And if you want to play sniping in long range maps like Fields of Poland and some others that have they're mostly empty, you just gotta watch out for enemies that can, I don't know, pen you through the hull, and the enemies that can pen you through the turret. Most of the people will pen you through the hull, but it just depends on the range. If you get down tier, some vehicles can't even pen you through the hull, which is really good, but you still gotta kind of be worried because you do have the weak spots like the MG port and the lower glacis. You gotta watch out for sabots and heat FS. One problem that I had was the Russian snipers or Russian tank destroyers and German tank destroyers, because the thing is with them, if you're on 6.7, 6.3 to 7.7, 7.3, tank destroyers will pen you and anywhere in your hull. So you gotta watch out who you're messing with. The shell has really good filler, and I would tell you that no matter where you aim, a penetration is enough to kill a tank. Even you can even overpressure vehicles because it's not a lot of filler, but it's just enough to one tap whatever. And the thing is, I used to on some light vehicles you can even overpressure them by just the pure size and filler of the shell. Uh, your to push to be a pusher in choke points, you're really slow because you can't really expose yourself because you don't have a lot of armor, but you can't really go too slow because let's say you have a small reload. You really gotta watch out what you're doing with this vehicle. But if you played 7.0 to like if you played any nation from 6.7 to 7.7, you will know what I'm talking about. This is one BR where you're swapping from Cold Era vehicles to Cold War era vehicles from World War II vehicles. And the T29 was supposed to be, you know, those Tiger killers, Panther killers. But at 7.0, you're already starting to face Russian Cold War era T-54s, uh, I don't know, BMPs, generally ATGMs, German, I don't know, Leopards. And that's one problem that you're gonna start facing. It's going to be like playing a German Tiger. You're on the BR where you are mostly gonna get up tiered. It's one of those BRs that you're just gonna have to cope with it. You're just gonna say, okay, I'm getting up tier constantly. But the thing is, on that BR, not a lot of tanks have armor, and you have 200 grams, around 200 grams of filler, which means that you can get one-shotted, but you delete whatever you tap. You delete with one click. You don't have to really give a fuck where you're gonna shoot because you can just one tap whatever. A leopard, God help him, God help him, whatever, like a BMP. So this vehicle is one that a lot of people don't care about. It's one vehicle that a lot of people don't talk about. I've seen a lot of videos about this vehicle, and not a lot of people just tell you how good it is. It is overpowered from my point of view. A lot of people don't like it, but from my point of view, it's one of the best vehicles you can put in your lineup. Even if you're playing like 7.7, 7.3, even at some points 8.0, this tank will be good because just the pure shell makes, like the pure cannon itself just makes this vehicle bonkers. It is overpowered, but I think in down tiers it kind of suffers because of that APHE. It kind of suffers in down tiers because you're gonna get one shot at the most of the times. But in up tiers, a lot of sabots don't do that much sprawl, and if you wiggle a lot, you might bounce them. So that's one really plus that you can have. And this is just my honest opinion. I don't know what you think about the T29 or the T34. And goodbye.